So now we are going to the weight part. In order to weight our rig properly, we can start with the ear, because the ear is a different object currently, so this is probably the easiest. Now we all know about selecting it, selecting the rig, then Control P and with automatic weights. Now I'm not going to do this because it's just self-deciding whatever it's going to do. We are going to do this the manual way. So meaning we're going to select the ear, go to the Modify tab, and first of all we need our armature. Armature should be on top here, and we're going to obviously select the armature. Now it should everything work, but we don't have vertex groups, which tell the bone which vertices to control. In order to get our vertex groups here, we just select the armature, then the mesh, tab, weight paint. We're going to weight paint here. I'm going also into solid here to see better. We can see everything is blue if we select the bones now, because they have no weight at all. Now we can just simply select all those bones here, and we can go to weight, assign automatic from bones, meaning it's only going to assign the weight from the bones we currently have selected. And this is way more handy, because I'm pretty sure we would have some of the head on here, which I don't really want. And we can see it's properly working. Select all the weights visually and by moving it, but it seems to be working just fine. Let's take a look, select the bones, the armature, then the mesh, tab, weight paint. It's going, for my taste, a little bit far in here, so what I'm going to do is, I still have to select this, tab, weight paint, and we can turn this mask on here, and we can go to the workspace area, we can change it, subtract, so we can subtract something, we want to subtract everything, so the full weight, and just paint in here. And now, see, if we just rotate this, it's still moving a little bit there because of the vertices are being in there. So I'm going back into edit mode, select also those parts here, back to weight paint. I think I'm going to change it to the vertice here, because then we get like a soft fall off. So, there we go. This is what I wanted. Now we can turn off the mask and we can see it's working everywhere, just that we don't have it on this side here. Now we can do the same thing with the other side. So I'm going to select all those bones here. And I'm going to weights, automatic from bones. So, and we should pretty much get the same result. We just make sure that nothing is moving on the others. We should do the same fix over here. So we go into edit mode, we select those faces here, back to weight paint, and we select this bone here, turn on the mask, and we just subtract everything out. Actually, the wrong mask here, this mask. And subtracting over here. So now for the body, press Alt H. We're going to do pretty much the same thing. Let's put in our armature modifier, move this all the way up here, select the armature, then the mesh, tab, weight paint. Let's turn off the mask here, and I'm going to select all, and we select all the bones. Now it's a bit tedious to select all the bones because we cannot mass select them. So I'm just going into object mode back here and just select the bones in edit mode here with C circle select. It's going a bit quicker here, bone here, and all those bones. Did I hit everything? I think I did. I don't want the ear bones, so now we can go back in object mode, select the mesh, tab, weight paint, and with all those bones selected now, we can go to assign automatic from bones. Let's select a bone here, and we can see we got it working. And first thing I do is just simply check all the weights. I'm going to start in the leg here. RX, it's working pretty fine. RX, there we go, and this is all working pretty nicely. Even the butt is working. Right here we have the root bone. There we did a little error. Okay, that's okay. Pretend I did this on purpose. Just go a few steps back. And before we now select our bones, we have to do one thing, because we don't want this bone to actually deform anything. We select a bone in, I think it doesn't matter, in edit mode or in pose mode. And here in the bone tab, we have the deform option. And we just uncheck deform. With that, it will not distribute weights on the mesh. So now we just select all of our bones here again. We could have also just simply not selected it, but this is the proper way. Now with that deform turned off, it doesn't matter if you have it selected or not. And we can just to object mode, select the mesh, tab, weight paint, the weights automatic from bones. Now if we select this bone, we can see it's purple, meaning its deform is turned off. And we can now check if everything works now. Okay. Work pretty nicely. Everything Alt R S G. Yeah, on the arms, if you press RZ, Z, you should move the arm like you normally would. RZZ, RZZ. Yeah, that's right. A little bit of a problem here. Let's turn off in front on the bones. Now it's a bit bendy here, but this is just fine. It's kind of a cartoonish character. In theory, I'm on a more realistic character. I would add more vertices, but this is just fine. The hand, RXX. This fine wobbling. Let's select all the fingers. RXX. Very good. All seems to work pretty fine. What about tail here? Won't let me select everything. Select no, and xxerbexx. It's looking pretty decent, I would say. And we can save this and we're done with weight painting. Now there's one thing I forgot to rig, not a big deal. We just go into edit mode, in the eye. We just extrude this out 2 times and delete the upbone. Here we turn on the snapping with vertex and we snap this on here. And go Z wireframe. Also we should probably turn off the multi-res here so we can see a little better, and then we can just snap this on and we should probably do it like this here. And we just copy it. And we can snap another one over here, like that. Oh, there we go. Now we can select all of them. And we should probably rename this properly, so I_01, that's the naming scheme we're going to use. Paste this in and make a 2 out of that, etc. So now we can select the bones here, and we can hit armature, symmetrize, the armature and then the mesh, weight paint. Let's go back into solid here. Select the head. We can see we have basically weight everywhere. Now this doesn't quite look right to me, but whatever, it doesn't matter right now. By the way, don't worry about the things you don't have. I'm recording this at a later point, but I'm just cutting it in where it should be. Don't worry about it, this all will. Now, to rig the eye, we first of all have to go to the mesh and remove the head weight around the eye. So kind of here and here. Loops in region. And we go back to the armature, select the mesh, and weight paint. Turn on the mask here, and over here we can, with a brush in the workspace area, subtract, and we can on both sides. Very nice. Now I'm going to the vertex selection, and I probably should turn off in front here or something. It's kind of annoying. Weight paint, and I think I can select those 2 vertices here, and this off, select the bone, and I'm going to switch from subtract to mix. 1. I'm going to paint this in. If we now move this, we can see we move it. Same thing for all the other ones. So I'm going to select it. I'm going to turn on the mask. Select this vertex, paint it in. Select this vertex. I cannot see it, but I know where it is because I placed the bones right over it. Turn off the mask, select the right bone, on the mask, paint it in. So select the next vertex and the next vertex. I'm holding shift when I select the second one. Turn off the mask, select the bone, turn it on, paint it in. So here we got it already. Okay, I'm going to check the other side and oh, actually it worked. Still have snapping on. This is kind of breaking a bit weird here. No. Shift tab turns off snapping. We have to go a little bit further in, so this is a bit annoying. Let's go into weight paint, and I'm going to grab my one bone here, and I'm going to take the smear brush, and I'm going to make this relatively soft, and I'm going to push this up just a bit down, just a bit in, not really down, more like the eye. Now we can go render it here, and we can just check out if we actually grab things properly. You can see we don't have any shading on this, so it's not really a big problem if we like stretch or bend a few things. Better or easier if we just can directly grab those vertices. So there's a very important step you have to follow or do once you finished weighting or skinning, however you want to call it. And this is just do a few steps. Watch out. You go into weight paint here and go under weights. Now, if we take a look at normalize all, if we read this, normalize all weights of all vertex groups. So for each vertex, the sum of all weights is 1. It's a bit complicated written here, but in very simple terms, it means, let's just imagine we have bones here, right? So, and this bone and that bone, they overlap somewhere. Yeah, paint this in maybe really quick so we can see what I'm talking about. So I'm just going to paint over here, right? And we have a weight of 1 here, but this bone also has a weight of 1. So together they have a weight of 2, which is really counterproductive. And some programs might not even like that and recognize it as an error. So what we have to do is select the mesh, app weight paint, and we have to go to weights and normalize all. With that, all groups will be normalized. In theory, nothing at all should break. It's just fixing up errors. Now, I'm recording this at a later part. Don't worry about this. And really nothing should break at all if you rig your stuff properly. Second of all, if we go to weights here again, under weights, we will find a limit total. Limit deform weights associated with a vertex to a specific number by removing the lowest weights. Now what this does is, for example, Unreal can only have 4 bones per vertex, meaning this vertex can only be manipulated by 1, 2, 3, 4 bones, and max, right? In theory this is quite a lot and you will never have this problem unless you do like a very complicated rig, and I don't know, I don't see a situation where it would have 4 bones controlling one vertex. But it's very important because how Blender creates the vertex groups, there might be some empty overlapping ones. So if you are in weight paint and you go to limit total, down here you can see and at the bottom right you can see 171 got limited. This is just how it creates it. If you properly rigged it with enough space between each bones, there should also nothing break. Now I have some other stuff here which we're going to do in a later video, but just make sure move a few things around. It really shouldn't break anything at all. And the last thing is that we remove unused groups. So in the vertex here, so with the mesh selected in the object data menu over here on the vertex groups, there is a removed unused vertex groups. I'm not sure if you have this. I don't think you have this. I get deleted. I'm looking at the thing here, if it gets smaller or something, and something moved. It seems like some got removed. So I'm pretty sure you don't have this. This is a add-on, remove unused vertex groups. So I'm pretty sure you will just find this if you Google Blender add-on remove unused vertex groups. So just Google it and you might find it. We can actually take a look here in preferences. Remove unused. Yeah, it's actually add-on. Remove unused vertex group. .py, so it's a Python. If you don't know this, you probably have to unpack the zip and open the python.py in here, install. I might put a link in the description, so check out the description.